Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air. A deadly car ramming attack and stabbing rampage at a synagogue, striking on the holiest day of the Jewish year. Authorities confronting and killing the suspect in a terrifying takedown. Officials in Manchester, England, calling it a terrorist attack. The suspect's identity just released by authorities, and now word of multiple new arrests. And the heightened alert here in the U.S. on this Yom Kippur as authorities monitor developments overseas. The stunning moment, Delta regional jets collide at New York's busy LaGuardia Airport.
You can't make this up right now.
Nearly 100 passengers and crew jolted by the impact, the frightening scene on the taxiway. The White House issuing a new threat that thousands will likely be fired as the government shutdown drags into day 2. Democrats and Republicans remain at odds with no end in sight. Rachel Scott on Capitol Hill. Bombshell claims tonight calling Jeffrey Epstein the greatest blackmailer ever. Trump's Commerce Secretary making the explosive allegations, saying he believes Epstein used scandalous videos of high-profile connections to get a plea deal years ago. Mary Bruce standing by. Late today, Sean Diddy Combs apologizing before his sentencing tomorrow, potentially facing years in prison. An accuser now preparing to deliver an impact statement before Combs learns his fate. 2 teenage girls killed in a hit and run while riding an e-bike in New Jersey. Police say the driver of the Jeep is a teen, now facing murder charges. And tonight, the search for a driver behind this wild wreck in Philadelphia, a car going airborne, slamming into a home, the vehicle reportedly stolen. A norovirus outbreak on a cruise ship, 100 people sick, turning a Caribbean vacation into a medical emergency. And America Strong tonight, the woman bringing snacks and smiles to baseball fans for half a century, and what keeps her coming back to the ballpark.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us on this Thursday. I'm Whit Johnson in for David. And we begin with that breaking news, a deadly terror attack on a synagogue in Manchester, England. The brutal violence happening on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year for the Jewish community. The suspect ramming a car into a crowd, then going on a stabbing rampage before he was shot dead by police. And late today, authorities identifying that suspect, also announcing 3 more arrests in connection with the attack. Back here in the U.S., police already on high alert. The NYPD saying they're monitoring the situation in Manchester and stepping up security at synagogues for the holiday. ABC's Lama Hassan leads us off.
Tonight, the dramatic moment. Officers surround the man accused of a deadly terror attack at a Manchester synagogue on Yom Kippur, the holiest day on the Jewish calendar.
Everybody else, get back!
The suspect, seen on the ground wearing a vest, police fearing it was a bomb, shooting and killing him just 7 minutes after the attack began.
I heard bang bang, and then we heard the helicopters, we heard the siren.
The horror unfolding at 9:31 this morning in the heart of an Orthodox Jewish community. Police say the suspect rammed a car into a crowd, jumped out and started stabbing people. At least 2 men killed, 3 more seriously injured.
This attack has been officially declared as a terrorist incident.
Authorities say the suspect tried to get inside the synagogue.
Thanks to the immediate bravery of security staff and the worshippers inside, as well as the fast response of the police, the attacker was prevented from gaining access.
Tonight, police identifying the suspect as 35-year-old Jihad al-Shami, a British citizen of Syrian descent. And authorities also arresting 2 men and 1 woman in connection with the attack. Tonight, this community shaken.
Everyone's concerned, everybody's worried, everybody's scared, and we shouldn't be scared to feel or believe in what we believe.
With authorities tonight stepping up security at Jewish institutions across the UK. And back in the US, the NYPD saying it's closely monitoring this deadly attack. Armed officers standing guard at synagogues today. Authorities on high alert as this investigation ramps up. Whit.
Frightening developments. Lama, thank you. We appreciate it. Back here in the U.S., we're seeing alarming new images of 2 Delta Airlines planes colliding at New York's LaGuardia Airport on the taxiway. Both jets damaged from the impact. One plane, the nose and windshield banged up. On the other jet, part of the wing torn off and shredded. ABC's Matt Rivers from LaGuardia tonight.
Tonight, this time-lapse video capturing the moment two Delta regional jets collided on the taxiway at New York's LaGuardia Airport. The impact damaging the nose and windshield of one plane, parts of the other plane's right wing seen shredded on the ground.
We have two CRJs on mic that collided.
Delta says the low-speed collision occurred around 10 p.m. last night. Flight 5047 arriving from Charlotte, North Carolina, turning on the taxiway. Flight 5155 heading to Roanoke, Virginia, traveling straight down the taxiway, told by air traffic control to hold short, but it keeps moving, striking the other jet.
Their right wing clipped our nose and the cockpit. We had damage to our windscreen.
Plane stopped, jerked, and jumped to the right. Everyone went dead silent. The pilot calmly came on, said, "Hey, we've been in a crash." Everyone remained calm.
Thomas Heinman on the other plane, filming its arrival during the moment of impact.
Oh my God. We're just flying with another CRJ. We're just taxiing. Pretty normally. And then a second later, I felt a big bump. I was just more shaken than anything.
Nearly 100 passengers and crew from both flights deplaning on the taxiway and bused to the terminal. Miraculously, only one flight attendant was treated for minor injuries. The FAA and NTSB now investigating.
Yes, it could have been much worse. Matt Rivers, thank you. One day before his sentencing, Sean Diddy Combs is apologizing for his actions. In a letter to the judge, Combs saying he, quote, takes full responsibility and accountability for his actions, adding he's sorry for the hurt and pain he caused. Combs' attorney pushing for a 14-month sentence or time served. Prosecutors requesting more than 11 years. The judge will allow one of Combs' accusers to deliver a victim impact statement at the sentencing. Now to Washington, where lawmakers remain deadlocked on day 2 of the government shutdown. The Trump administration ramping up the threat, saying the number of federal workers who could be fired is, quote, likely going to be in the thousands. And President Trump says he's weighing which programs could be on the chopping block. The funding stalemate dragging on as millions wonder when they'll see their next paycheck. ABC's senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill tonight.
Tonight, with the government shutdown now in its second day, President Trump says he's meeting with his budget director to decide which government programs he can eliminate, calling this moment a, quote, unprecedented opportunity.
I'm allowed to cut things that should have never been approved in the first place, and I will probably do that.
The White House saying prepare for mass firings of government workers.
Are we talking hundreds? Are we talking thousands?
Look, it's likely going to be in the thousands.
Negotiations with Democrats at a standstill.
People say, why aren't you negotiating with Schumer and Jeffries? Because I quite literally have nothing to negotiate.
Democrats refuse to accept that.
The White House is now threatening to fire thousands of federal employees. Is that a risk that you're willing to take by putting up this fight, and for how long?
The Trump administration has been firing thousands of federal employees outside of the context of a government shutdown since January 20th. Literally, they've been engaging in mass firings. The Trump administration. They need to come to the table.
Democrats want Republicans to reverse Medicaid cuts and extend expiring Obamacare subsidies so health insurance premiums don't go up for millions of Americans like Kristen Furman Simmons and Ken in Buckport, Maine, who is battling MS.
It is a really difficult thing to weigh the value of your life against the cost of affordable care.
She says if the Obamacare subsidies expire, her premiums could go up 169%.
So we're really not sure what's going to happen with that and really where we're going to find that money in our budget.
But tonight's stalemate, with some 4 million federal workers wondering when they'll see their next paycheck. Many worrying they won't even have a job to go back to when this shutdown ends.
With the Senate is back in session tomorrow, but right now these two sides do not even appear to be talking. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says if Democrats do not fund the government tomorrow, he will likely be sending lawmakers home for the weekend, which means this shutdown will drag on for at least another few days. All
right, Rachel Scott for us tonight. We appreciate it. Next here, President Trump declaring the U.S. is in an armed conflict with drug cartels. The words in a confidential memo sent to congressional committees and obtained by ABC News. The president labeling smugglers unlawful combatants. The memo following 3 deadly strikes last month against vessels the White House claims were hauling drugs. Turning now to the explosive claims from President Trump's Secretary of Commerce, saying in an interview that Jeffrey Epstein was the greatest blackmailer ever. And he believes Epstein was leveraging videos of high-profile associates to get a lighter plea deal in a 2008 criminal case. Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.
For months, the FBI has insisted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein never supplied women or girls to any of his high-profile friends and acquaintances. But tonight, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, a close friend of President Trump's, tells the New York Post he believes that some of those bold-faced names not only knew about Epstein's behavior, they also participated. Lutnick, who used to be Epstein's next-door neighbor, describing his first and only visit to Epstein's mansion.
I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me. Ooh. And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Lutnick was asked if Epstein's celebrity friends knew what was happening.
Did they see it and ignore it, or?
No, they participated.
Right.
That's what his MO was, get a massage, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume, was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever. Blackmailed people. That's how he had money.
Lutnick then going even further, saying he believes Epstein used those alleged videos to get a sweetheart deal when he was arrested in Florida in 2008.
I assume way back when, they traded those videos in exchange for him getting that 18-month sentence, which allowed him to have visits and be out of jail.
Lutnick provided no evidence, but his claims fly in the face of what the Trump administration has been saying.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None.
Now, President Trump himself was friends with Epstein for 10 years before they had a falling out. Tonight, we've been asking the White House and the Justice Department about the Commerce Secretary's comments, but so far, no response. Whit.
All right, Mary Bruce at the White House, thank you. A community shattered tonight after a hit-and-run driver killed two teenage girls in New Jersey. The suspected driver, a 17-year-old, slapped with murder charges as friends and family prepare to remember the young lives cut short. Here's ABC's Rhiannon Alley.
Tonight, authorities say this fatal hit-and-run crash that left two teenagers dead in Cranford, New Jersey, was murder.
These were the type of girls that befriended my daughter, and they were always so kind.
Police seen here arresting a 17-year-old suspect, later charging him with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of Maria Neotes and Isabella Salas.
I think the whole community really joined together and, provided whatever evidence that the police needed.
Prosecutors say the 17-year-old girls, who were best friends, were struck by an SUV late Monday afternoon as they rode an e-bike down a residential street. The families of the victims believe the suspect targeted Maria. Without giving any details, in a statement calling the suspect a coward who had been plotting this attack against Maria for months. The teenage suspect is related to a police chief in a neighboring town. That chief, also a neighbor of Isabella's, saying in a statement, "I do unequivocally condemn the actions of the accused, and like you, I demand that he face the consequences of his alleged actions in a court of law." Whit, prosecutors have not released any information on a possible motive. They also have not ruled out charging that suspect as an adult, saying they are leaving all legal options on the table for prosecution. Whit.
An awful case all around. Rhiannon, thanks for your reporting. Now to the ex-superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools, already facing deportation and now a host of charges after getting detained by ICE. The school board saying tonight they are a victim of deception as their former colleagues' background and education come into question. Here's ABC's Alex Perez.
Tonight, the former superintendent of Iowa's largest school district now behind bars. The DOJ charging Ian Roberts with 1 count of being an illegal alien in possession of firearms.
I'm excited to be a part of this journey.
Roberts, a native of Guyana, resigned from his position as the Des Moines superintendent Tuesday after he was detained nearly a week ago on allegations he was in the country illegally. School district officials say 2 years ago, Roberts claimed he had a doctorate from Morgan State University, but they say records showed he never obtained it. Despite the discrepancy, the district still hired him. Now, MIT saying Roberts' claim he was an MBA student there is also false. And George Washington University saying the Principal of the Year award Roberts boasted he received does not exist. In a statement, the Des Moines School Board saying they are a victim of deception, but Roberts' attorney asking the public to withhold judgment.
This is a very complex case. Take it a step at a time.
ICE officials say Roberts entered the U.S. in 1999 on a student visa and was given a final order of removal in May of 2024. Authorities say he tried to evade arrest and was in possession of multiple firearms. And Whit, Roberts remains in custody. He has not yet entered a plea on that federal charge. Whit.
Alex Perez for us tonight. Thank you. When we come back, sickness on the seas. A highly contagious virus hits dozens on a cruise ship. Also, emergency responders race to an explosion at a Houston construction site. Details on what may have caused the blast. And the search for the driver who slammed this car into the side of a Philadelphia home. Next tonight, the second explosion in 2 days involving a big city high-rise. Today, 6 construction workers injured in Houston. Hazmat crews responding to a Holiday Inn under renovation. Fire officials blaming a natural gas line explosion. Meantime, in New York City, crews getting rid of what's left of that partial building collapse in the Bronx. The cause of yesterday's blast centering on a possible gas leak to a faulty boiler. Remarkably, nobody injured in that collapse. Authorities are searching for a driver following a spectacular crash. This Honda wedged into the side of a Philadelphia home. Police say the driver blew a stop sign, hit another vehicle, critically injuring that driver, then went airborne. The family inside the home frightened but otherwise okay. The Honda driver still on the run. Police say the car had been reported stolen. When we come back, passengers and crew on board a cruise ship hit with a contagious virus, and the wait is nearly over for millions of Swifties. Health officials say a norovirus outbreak on board a Royal Caribbean cruise ship has sickened nearly 100 people. The Serenade of the Seas is now docked in Miami. The ship set sail from San Diego in mid-September. This is the 19th norovirus outbreak on a cruise ship this year. That's the highest number of outbreaks in a year since 2007. Norovirus is a highly contagious gastrointestinal virus. Well, the countdown is on for Swifties. Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl drops tonight at midnight, the global superstar's 12th studio album. For those who want a head start, Spotify dropped more lyrics from the album ahead of its release. Swift revealed her new album in August on her fiancé Travis Kelce's podcast. Still ahead, America Strong, a Philadelphia treasure at the ballpark, will introduce you to the so-called peanut purveyor. Finally tonight, delivering peanuts and joy, the woman who's been a staple at Phillies games for 5 decades, America Strong.
Peanuts!
While October baseball always brings something new and exciting,
How are you? We're doing great.
some things never change. Cheryl Spielvogel has been selling peanuts at Philadelphia Phillies games for 50 years.
You know, I'm no spring chicken. I do get tired going up those 40 rows, but it's in my blood. I can't give it up. Thank you so much. That first night, I didn't know what I was doing. I went down the steps, just holding my arm up. I didn't sell anything. And one of the other older vendors said to me, you know, you got to shout. You got to tell them you're coming.
And for all those decades since, she's done just that.
Peanuts! When I started, they were 40 cents.
Submersing herself in this great American pastime.
And I go all the way down and I go all the way back up. No half measures.
And building bonds with her grateful fans.
Peanuts! And I have people say to me, you know, I brought my son down here when he was 3 years old and now he's 45, you know? Where are you? Sit down. Let me say hello to you for a minute. Same people every night, or, you know, the season ticket holders. Up and down, you know? I know that guy, too.
I've been coming down here for about 30 years, and I specifically look for Cheryl, and I always buy a bag of peanuts from her.
I can't quit here. Peanuts! It's part of me now, 50 years. Tell me this isn't the best job in the world. I will do this till I can't do it anymore. With my cane on the steps, I have no intention of not being here. Peanuts!
Still going. We know the fans love it, too. Thanks so much for watching tonight. I'm Whit Johnson in New York. Have a great night.
David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the third year in a row.